Hi, how can a downpipe help with my spool time? Well, a downpipe can definitely help with your spool time. Generally, reductions in exhaust restriction are going to help with spool time. And so let's bookend it like I often like to do. So um, a turbo spins because there's pressure in front of the turbine wheel and a pressure differential across the turbine wheel that allows pressure from in front of the turbine wheel to escape out and behind the turbine wheel. And so if you have 30 psi of pressure inside the exhaust manifold and zero pressure after, so in the downpipe you have 0 psi, then you're going to have 30 psi of exhaust pressure spinning that turbine wheel and going into the turbine housing, being compressed by the AR ratio, and then being sprayed like a nozzle at the turbine wheel under even higher pressure. Now let's go to the other end of the spectrum. If you have a steel plate that blocks your turbo outlet, you would have 30 psi enter your exhaust manifold, go through the turbine wheel, and that 30 psi would hit the steel plate behind the turbine wheel, and you'd have 30 psi on each side of the turbine wheel, which means the turbine wheel would not spin or move because it would just be locked in a static pressure environment, just like it does when it's sitting there on your desk, and there's 14.5 psi of atmosphere on each side of the turbine wheel. It doesn't spin. So if you could somehow go up in a spaceship, and let's say you had 14.5 psi inside the spaceship, which is kind of what humans are used to, and you mounted the turbo in the side of the spaceship, and that 14.5 psi, 1 bar of atmosphere went out the turbine wheel, then it would spin. So if you can reduce the back pressure, so let's say a stock catalytic converter and exhaust system produces 5 psi of back pressure. And if you have 30 psi coming into the turbine wheel and 5 psi behind it, that means your pressure differential is now 25. So if you put a high flow downpipe, and let's say that reduces the back pressure by 2 psi, you now have a 27 psi differential. So the pressure differential is up, and the turbine wheel can spin proportionally to that pressure differential. How well your aftermarket downpipe or cat increases spool time is going to be up to the amount of back pressure it reduces. If it doesn't, in practice, reduce back pressure, then it's not going to help the spool time. All right.
So it's not a simple answer.
Well, that was a simple answer, and it's substantially more complicated.
Oh, actually, there's one that kind of ties into that a little bit. Actually, that came in this one down here, number 6.